All right, we're back with O.I.M. Part 3, Video F. And, I'm trying to gather my thoughts. All right. And even if I call the wrong video out, who in the hell cares? Because, I'm trying to keep your mind straight as you go through and research and look. And you see that there is a long-standing history. There's a long-standing history that exists. And in that long-standing history, this is what you find that people want to be constantly hidden under the surface of life so that generations of people have no recollection of the attitudes and the behaviors of this seed that Yah only termed as Gentile in the Bible in Genesis chapter 10. He didn't term no other seed after the flood between Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And so, look at my statement here. After seeing all that has been recorded concerning the nature of Japheth, the nature, we can surely lay out the nature of the oppressor. Can we? Yes, we can. We can. But what I'm getting ready to bring out is going to further that. All right? It's going to further that thought. Let's look at Napoleon Bonaparte. I told you in the earlier series I was going to bring out, and I didn't quite catch his name because I just remember coming across this. But this is a statement that he made. And look what I have over here. The enlarged nature again. The enlarged nature again. Look at my freaking lips. The enlarged nature again. Japheth, get tired of me saying it. The enlarged nature again. Look what this freaking man made history in terms of making a bold statement that lines up with what Michael Bradley said about their philosophy on race. All right? Look what he says. My decision to destroy the authority of the blacks in Saint Domingue, all right, Domingue, Haiti, okay? Don't worry about how I pronounce it. I know some of that's going to be all you need on how I pronounce it. It's going to just destroy you. You can't hear truth because it just don't make sense to you, all right? It's not so much based on considerations of commerce and money as on the need to block forever the march of the blacks in the world. So look at that. You just say, you know what? It ain't about commerce. It ain't about nothing else. More so than it is just need to just block the blacks. They don't need to march forward no more. You racist pig. Look at that swine right there. Yeah, I said it. Get mad at me. But this is your forefathers that's making these statements. Get mad that I'm pointing out why the philosophy of the Gentiles, the Greeks, and the mindset that they have. Man, that's crazy. All right? Let's go on. All right, let's read what it says right here. All right? Stay with me. Those of y'all that have heart to stay with me. All right. Depth of behavioral characteristics found in other sources related to the enlarged mentality of the seed of Japheth is what I'm about to bring out. Now, most of y'all have heard of this, all right, and have seen this before, but I'm going to re-bring it out because there are some very important things that make sense that we got to start before we end this O.I.M. Part 3 series, all right? So, let's go back here, all right? Now, vital documentation from, guess what? Willie Lynch letter. A mindset to exploit. Now, so when we let's pause for a second here. Let me take you back. If you remember in the early series, when we looked up the word enlarge, when I talked about Genesis 9:27, which says God shall enlarge Japhet. Well, guess what? Remember I talked about heart condition. Japhet has enlarged because of their heart condition. He didn't say he was doing it because of great purpose. He just was turned over. And not only that, Japhet, the seed of Japhet is going to come up even after Christ come back and lock away Satan for 1,000 years. And when he released, guess who he's going to use? The seed of Japhet all over again. Ah, my goodness. All right. So when we talk about the mindset to exploit, that's what the innate behavior is. All right. So let's dig into this. This is from the letter, and this is what I have highlighted. And this is from a notion of control mechanism. Gentlemen, you know what your problems are. I do not need to elaborate. I am not here to enumerate your problems. I am here to introduce you to a method of solving them. In my bag here, I have a foolproof method. All right, a foolproof method of controlling your black slaves. I guarantee every one of you that if installed correctly, it will control the slave for at least 300 years. My method is simple. Any member of your family or your overseer can use it. I have outlined a number of differences among slaves and make the difference bigger. I use fear, distrust, and envy for control. Now, if I can say anything, growing up in the hood, I know how people act because of fear, because of distrust, all right, and because of envy. And looking around, those are some main spirits that is dead smack in the middle of the hood where people like myself come from when we come from these impoverished areas, all right? So, not knowing who Willie Lynch is and then being able to have eyes to see and ears to hear and being able to look back, I know that it's main spirits that dwell in those impoverished areas. All right. These methods have worked on my modest plantation in the West Indies, and it will work throughout the South. Take this simple list of differences and think about them. On top of my list is age, but it's there only because it starts with an A. The second is color or shade. There is intelligence, size, sex, size of plantation, and status on plantation, attitude of owners, whether the slaves live in the valley, on a hill, east, west, north, south, with fine hair, coarse hair, or is or tall or short. Let me stop right there. In the black Greek fraternity and sorority realm of the collegiate students, we find, especially back in the day, they used to have something called the brown paper bag test. If you was darker than that brown paper bag, you was not allowed to pledge in some of those sororities because you were too dark. And this is blacks. These are blacks excluding other blacks. All right, why? But some kind of way that notion entered in. Guess what? North side, west side, east side, south side. Guess what? We deal with that in the neighborhood, in the black neighborhoods. I'm from south side. I'm from north side. I mean, it's crazy. You heard many times in the music, in the rap, west side. Where did that come from? I always wondered, where did that come from? Why is that so important? Why do we take something so ignorant and make it so big? I wonder if Willie Lynch was correct in what he found out. You talk about coarse hair and fine hair. Well, guess what? I got sucked into it too. I just see the videos with the girls with the fine hair on there, and I'm like, boom. I just look around at some of the girls that grew up around me and look at their hair, and they wouldn't have a chance in hell. Don't even look at me. That's one of the reasons why I was drawn to the long blonde hair. I ain't lying to you. Back in the day, hey, can I tell you the truth? I used to be drawn to it because the nappy hair was wrong and the long blonde hair was right. That was ingrained. That was something that, guess what? That was presented, and hey, I went with it. Right? Don't get mad. We just telling the truth. Now that you have a list of differences, I shall give you an outline of actions. But before that, I shall assure you that distrust is stronger. All right? You hear what it says? That distrust is stronger than trust, and envy stronger than adulation, respect or admiration. The black slaves, after receiving this indoctrination, shall carry on and will become self-refueling and self-regenerating for hundreds of years, maybe thousands. I would say thousands. To read this, how can you even write this? Why, if a black person wrote this, then how could this be true today? And why would you want to do this to blacks? Well, guess what? When we look at the nature of Japhet and we look at the enlargement and the increased mindset, oh, this is definitely enlarged. And you see the audience that was being talked to, and you look at what he said in end of this. So look at this control mechanism that still exists today. And this is why the Gentiles are going to come say that we have inherited lies from our fathers and vanities where there is no profit. You're going to come and say that because look at this foolishness. All right. Now, the Gentiles understand the power of truth. And I want to make that statement because this has a direct effect on understanding the very point of why they are trying to stamp out truth. See, people are returning to their natural culture. And this is why there's such a battle between the word Israelite and Christianity. Israelite has an association, a true association that is ingrained, that's embedded with descendants. All right. And Christianity has a root in religion. Okay. So let's listen to this. Our experts warned us about the possibility of this phenomenon occurring. For they say that the mind has a strong drive to correct and recorrect itself over a period of time. If I can touch some substantial original historical base, and they advised us that the best way to deal with this phenomenon is to shave off the brute's mental history and create a multiplicity of a phenomena of illusions so that each illusion will twirl in its own orbit, something similar to floating balls in a vacuum. Now, so if we go out to Psalms 83, where it says that all the nations conspired together that they would know the name Israel no more. So again, look at that. So if we take that notion right there and we know that we change these people of the book, Paul never said that he was a Christian. The History Channel said he was the greatest Christian that ever lived. He was one of the greatest. All right. Paul never said that. Paul said, I too am an Israelite. What if we get people to reassociate with their Israelite culture. I know what it's doing for me. I know that I'm coming in touch with a lot of things that deal with being an Israelite, like understanding who the healing and the children's bread truly belong to because of the law and the Torah teaching concerning the kinsman redeemer. I'm learning how our nation progressed and increased through the likes of biblical marriage, polygyny. I'm learning how to truly restore my brother and to truly have a love for the nation of Israelites because of who we truly were in the past. And my mind has changed and transformed to that. You know, I had somebody, one of my players who I coached a while back, he messaged me on Facebook Messenger the other day, late at night, and asked me, Coach, what religion are you? I said, no religion, just Christ, Jesus Christ, what's wrote in the Bible, whom have allowed me to operate in his power and in his anointing. And here, I want you to watch these testimony videos. And after you watch it, then I'm going to explain to you what those things are that's in the Bible that you should be in. See, and so what was wrote in the Willie Lynch letter is to create an illusion. Well, guess what? By deceit. Remember, that's what enlarge meant. In a sinister way. Look at your people. You have inherited vanities and lies where there's no profit. Look at what it's saying right here in the Willie Lynch letter. You want to create a phenomenon of illusions that each illusion will twirl in its own orbit. That means you just keep creating all of these webs. This is why you can't come out. This is why you can't understand. This is why your people is so deceived. You can't get mad at me because I'm bringing this out. And I'm going to keep bringing it out. Wait till part 4. I'm going to bring some junk out on you, boy. And you ain't going to be able to do nothing. You hear me, boy? Just like you call my people in the cotton fields. Look at this right here. This one right here blew me away. This is a direct behavioral trait of the oppressor. This is a direct behavioral trait of the oppressor. Let's look at this. All right. We're almost done. Okay. But I wanted to bring this out in such a way that you really get this down in you and don't miss this. It was the interest and business of slaveholders to study human nature. See what Japhet did? Japhet sat and watched. Michael Bradley brought that out. But here we read the Willie Lynch letter, and we see this is one of the things that they did. To study the human nature and the slave nature in particular with a view to practical results. And I and many of them attained astonishing proficiency in this direction. They had to deal not with earth, wood, and stone, but with men. And by every regard they had for their own safety and prosperity, they needed to know the material on which they were to work. Conscious of the injustice and wrong they were every hour perpetuating and knowing what they themselves would do. Were they the victim of such wrongs? They were constantly looking for the first sign of the dreaded retribution. They watched, therefore, with skilled and practiced eyes and learned to read with great accuracy the state of mind and heart of the slave. Through his sable face, unusual sobriety, apparent abstractions, sullenness, and indifference indeed, any mood out of common was afforded grounds for suspicion and inquiry. Look at these folks, man. I mean, this stuff just don't make sense, all right? It just don't make sense. And remember, I brought out that word inveterate in the book of Maccabees. And I just want to remind you again, you know, because that was one of the things that had that gentleman heated because of what we said. And I want to go back. You can't see it up there. Some kind of way it got moved up. But hey, having a particular habit, activity, or interest that is long established and unlikely to change. All right. That's what inveterate meant. So when we saw in that other video of the O.I.M. part 3, we saw how the Gentiles sat around and enjoyed, because that's what they enjoyed doing, watching us. They had us in zoos, watching us, watching our behavior, you know, observing us, you know, and further going along with this philosophy of us being some type of animals. Man, I mean, this thing is just, it's amazing on what this history has held true concerning the Gentiles. All right. Now, what I'm going to bring out is my current experience with Japhet, all right, and this enlarged mentality, all right. Here he is. This is Tom Eberline, all right. This gentleman right, look at it, all right. Let's just pause. I want y'all to take a look at him. And I know somebody going to get mad. Look at him. He's prejudiced. No, he's prejudiced. He's racist. He's from the seed of Japhet. Right? Look what Tom Eberline tried to do. He tried to steal my business concept, and y'all prevailed for me. Y'all, some of y'all that know me and remember, it was right before the Passover 2 years ago that we were getting ready to go down there. And this is the gentleman who I was telling you all that they owned a business called Dari Athletics, D-A-R-I, all right? And you see it on his shirt, so ain't no need to hide. And we was a mutual partner to Select Physical Therapy. And we were running a pilot program to, Select would do the physical therapy with all the athletes. Dari would do the assessments, and we would put together functional workouts to help athletes be restored, and not only to become even a greater performer after they return from their injury. And so this partnership would have never been formed if we wasn't good at what we do. But this dude right here was getting paid by Select Physical Therapy. They were paying him a nice amount of money a month, all right, to run his assessments. And then the business in turn that we generated, we would get paid for. But what this dude was trying to do was get paid from Select and get paid from the clients that we brought in. And then in the end, he brought a case against us and said the job that we were doing, though I have right now, if any of y'all would request, I can show you parents writing us. We had received cards from parents. And these were Caucasian parents who loved us, who loved what we did for their children. I can go right now to my business Facebook page and pull up proof that parents were upset. In fact, I got a long email from one of the parents who brought forth a lawyer for us on our behalf because he knew that what had been done was wrong. This guy tried to steal our business, put us out. I was taking all of the applications from our clients who were Trilogy clients who came to the business with me. He put his hands on it and said, because of the HIPAA rule, now I no longer can take that paperwork out of that location because it's a privacy act. And so we end up leaving that location, and we left everything there. You know, I'm going to tell y'all the truth. I had my side on with me, and I could have shot this punk right through his forehead because I was pissed. But guess what? I walked out of there in peace because I know vengeance belongs to y'all, and y'all going to get you and you and your children. And see, guess what? And now guess what they want? So now his children would come along. Well, my dad did that, and they would want to wash that down. But knowing that you have wronged one of the children of Israel, guess what? I see the signs and the wonders, the works of Elohim. And I do it. And guess what? He don't see it. He don't know. He don't care. So guess what? He had no problem with wronging me. I'm looking at his picture right now. And I remember that day he stood there with his hands on my property, saying I couldn't take it out of there. He had the other folks' food. It was easy for them to side together. You know, we was the only blacks involved in it. Me, my partners, you know, Brother Chris, JT, and Brother Dante. We was the only ones involved in that. Everybody else that had portion to do with it was all Caucasians. And so here, in the end, this is the trip. Just this year, Select called us back, said, hey, we wanted to let you guys know we parted ways with Dari. That relationship didn't work out. And we want to know if you guys wouldn't mind coming back in and use the space and us working something out. Hell no, we ain't coming back in there. Because you showed your true increased nature and didn't listen to us when we were sitting there telling y'all the truth about the lies that he was telling. So, man, it's amazing. So, and that ain't the only experience. I can go upon experience on experience. From growing up to now, I have experiences where I have not warranted on my own self. But yet it has come through what exists. And that is the enlarged, increased nature of the Gentiles. All right, in closing. All right, I know we went over the 20-minute mark, you know, with this, but in closing, I just want to make sure that we must identify Japhet in today and historically so people can understand. We must destroy doctrinal error concerning Esau when the prophet spoke concerning the Gentiles. All right, and we must expose the truth. And when I say exposing the truth, let's talk about this and let's end this. All right, let's end this. All right, when I say expose the truth, see, my purpose in this, even for my Gentile brothers who be ye converted, is that you know the truth, that you are able to go to your people, just like Michael Bradley was able to point out in Iceman Inheritance. And you begin to show the conversion. Isaiah 56 talks about, you know, the people being added in, a people who was not being a people. And then we go in the Brit Hadashah, the New Testament, and we see Paul talk about conversion. Because people have to be joined to Israel, not Israel to Christianity, or Israel to Islam, or Israel to any other religion that's out there. This thing is about converting and accepting the truth about who the true people are, about you becoming a part of the true people, and about the people that are not a people hearing the truth so that you turn from the report that's witnessed against this historical thing that is known and laid out. Yah knows it, and he's not going to turn away from it, but he's going to judge and adjudicate properly in the matters concerning his heritage and his people. That is in Joel chapter 3, and he's going to bring all nations down to the valley of Jehoshaphat, and there he's going to enter into judgment with them for his people and his heritage, Israel. Don't forget that, but remember to be converted in the mind. If you truly understand, then you will not be upset. Hey, be prepared. All right? Be prepared. Be prepared for O.I.M. Part 4, the enlarged imprint of the Gentiles. Hey, I can't wait to bring that to you because This is, I was telling you I was going to go down to Deacon Miguel's job. Me and Deacon is going to really be in on this part 4. I'm going to go out to some of the other brothers, like Brother Daniel Muir, because, Daniel, he played in the NFL. He had some interesting things he talked to me about before. We're also going to go out to Pastor Dow, because Pastor Dow has preached, this message of truth, has been hated. And so we're going to go out and bring some of those individuals in so that we can end this O.I.M series, and hopefully that you guys can share this series and get people to really understand and see the truth and turn away from the wickedness of that spirit, that enlarged spirit, and turn to the spirit of truth and be a part of the restoration and the holy people that are going to be restored. Hey, you all be blessed. I'm Pastor Corey, and I'm ending out here. Shalom, shalom.